In this module, we're going to focus on a concept called the ideal prospect and talk to you about how you can identify what your ideal prospect looks like and how focusing on that can help you to improve your results. The first thing to focus on is that being a salesperson is similar to being a detective, especially when you're performing sales prospecting. A detective is looking for someone who fits the crime in terms of they committed a crime or they're the exact person that they're looking for. And being a salesperson is kind of the same way in that you're trying to go through a lot of different people to try to find the prospect that needs what you sell. There's a lot of companies that can use what you sell, but you're trying to find someone that needs what you sell at the particular time that you're performing prospecting. So it involves a lot of searching, and if you think about a detective or think about a detective that works for a police department, when they are looking for a suspect, often they'll ask witnesses for a character sketch of what that suspect looks like. And could you imagine if someone was trying to solve a crime that didn't have a picture, an image of any sort, or a description? If they were just looking around and bumping into people and asking a wide array of questions and not really knowing what they were looking for, compare that to someone who has a picture, maybe even an actual photo or a drawing. Looking at this example on the screen, if you know that you're looking for someone with a particular type of build, facial hair, tattoo, wearing a hat or a hood, that can help you to narrow down your search and to be more successful. And we can apply that same concept with being a salesperson. If we know the details and the characteristics of what type of prospects we should be talking to and which type of prospects are most likely to purchase, we can be more successful. And that's what this whole concept of the ideal prospect is centered around. So this is the prospect that fits best and with what we have to offer. So it's the person that's most likely to need what we sell. What you sell provides some sort of value, and not everybody can benefit from that or needs that. It's also the prospect that has the most likely probability of moving forward. If I'm going to test drive a Ferrari, I would love probably to have that car, but I'm not a prospect that's likely to move forward because either A, I don't have the net income for that car, or B, even if I did, I probably wouldn't, for other reasons, I wouldn't be likely to move forward. So does the prospect have the budget to spend is another characteristic of the ideal prospect. So we'll get into some of the exact characteristics that you might look for. Does an ideal prospect also might have a certain level of decision-making authority? It's not necessarily the ideal prospect isn't necessarily who you will do business with, because if you think about maybe the demographics of an audience, right? We might do business with people that are between the age of 40 and 50. We're not gonna push away their business, but with what we sell, we might get the most business from the audience of 20 to 30 demographic, and in terms of age. And so since that's where we get most of our business, that's our ideal prospect. It doesn't mean it's not. So what I'm saying here is that the ideal prospect isn't who you would take business from. It's where you should focus on and the prospects that fit best. And so why is this critical? The reason why this is critical is that there's probably a huge market of individuals that you can try to sell to. And so if you look at this pie chart here, the big space is really we're trying to focus on. There's a lot of people that you could spend your time calling or trying to talk to or trying to schedule meetings with. But there's really only a small sliver of that huge pie of people that really fit good, and people that they need what you have and that they are likely to move forward. that it's that small sliver that we need to focus on. And the more we focus on that, and the less that we focus on the dark gray area of that pie, the more successful we'll be. Because the reality is that your time is so extremely valuable. It's the only resource that you can't buy more of, you can't replace, and so you need to get the most out of that valuable resource. And by and so if we're the more that we're able to manage our time and manage our focus to where we focus on that small sliver and minimize the larger piece, the more we'll protect that valuable resource of time. And so that's why knowing what the ideal prospect looks like and knowing what the people in that small sliver look like will help us with our entire sales effort and prospecting effort. So in order to know what the ideal prospect looks like, there's two key areas where we'll focus on sort of, if you're a detective looking for a suspect, you might want to know what their weight is, their race, their size, what they're wearing. We have two broad categories of areas to look. One being demographic area details, and the next will be environmental details. We'll talk about that next, but let's drill into demographic details to think about when you're trying to picture what does the ideal prospect look like for me. And so demographic details refer to the description of the businesses that fit well or that you should go after. And so we can look at geography. This might be determined by the company that you work for. If you're a salesperson, they might say your territory is the western half of the United States. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your ideal prospect is aligned with that territory and is the western half of the United States. You might say, well, my ideal prospects are going to be in these cities that have a good concentration of people, because that's where I travel into, and that's where I can hit a lot of people with minimal travel time. But some examples of geographic